how'd you guys get involved, and how'd you get access to the whole process?
The question was about access. So Ben and I actually met at Sundance 5 years ago, January 2009, which was just a couple months after Prop 8 had passed. And a few months later, we found out through various sources that the American Foundation for Equal Rights was going to be filing this lawsuit. So that was May 2009 when that was filed. So we approached them about possibly documenting the process. Now, no one knew how big the lawsuit was going to become. The goal was to get it to the Supreme Court, but obviously that could have easily not happened. And then the hiring of Ted and David happened, and we are so extremely grateful that both of them were willing, and their legal teams as well, were willing to allow our cameras in the room. I think everyone recognized how historic this could be if it made it to the Supreme Court, and they knew that if it did make it that far, that it was important for the American people to have a video record of what went on. And so as filmmakers and gay Californians and gay Americans, we're so thrilled that they allowed us that access.
Anyone else?
Yeah, right here.
Okay.
Given this incredible presentation, and also knowing Amendment 3 in our issue in Utah, I can't believe that thing can go forward. I mean, do you have a comment on what's happening here and in Oklahoma?
Sure. Yeah, we were blown away, as was probably everyone in this room, that Utah happened, and especially the timing. And the timing of it was amazing. That with the fact that we were already going to be premiering the film here at Sundance, it just made it so much more exciting to be a part of that dialogue. Since the Perry case and since DOMA, there have been federal cases filed in over 30 states that have bans on marriage. So they're making their way up through the courts, and Utah and Oklahoma have both already ruled. There's a hearing in Virginia next week about that case, and a couple others. Nevada's coming up soon. So they're all going to be coming up, and who knows which one will get to the Supreme Court first, but hopefully the people involved in those cases, the people making those decisions, will get to see the film, or will get to learn more about the issue before they make those decisions. But it seems pretty optimistic.
Two things. I'm glad you have an editor out there, because this film is brilliantly edited.
I don't think you have heard, but this is our editor, Kate Mann, who's a legendary editor and deserves a lot of credit for this film and really dived into it with us.
Can I just say what a great audience you are? It's so gratifying to hear you laughing and crying and applauding and responding to the film. It's really a privilege to sit and watch it with you.
Thank you. What was your question? So the question was about the score in the film, and I wish he literally left this morning, our composer, so he was at the screenings at Sundance, but his name's Blake Neely, and it was announced in March or April that our film was going to be with HBO, and he read an article about that and sent us an email that second saying, I want to score this film. And Blake is also a really accomplished composer. He's done huge television, huge films before, so this would normally be far below his budget. And so we are so incredibly grateful that he believed in the message of this film as well and was willing to take it on. He worked his butt off on it. We love the score. It's one of the most gratifying comments for us as directors to hear you actually comment on the editing and the music, because we're so proud of both those things in the film. And so we're very lucky that Blake was willing to do this film with us as well. Over here.
You guys talked to some of the opposition witnesses. Did you ever try and talk to Cooper with the opposition, the attorney?
That's a good question. You asked if we tried to reach out to Chuck Cooper and their team, and we didn't, because we actually, from the very beginning, Ryan and I discussed the fact that we didn't want this to be about whether gay marriage was right or wrong. We wanted it to be about these characters and the journey that they were going on, and tell that story. And not only would talking to the other side during the trial, that would have compromised that. David Blankenhorn was their lead witness, and he ultimately changed his mind about the issue, and we found that a really compelling story. And the idea that when you're fighting a civil rights battle like this, you want people to change their mind, and you want them to come to your side. So when they do change their mind, you have to embrace them and accept the fact that they've made that really courageous decision. So
and just to comment on that.
Thank you, yeah. Okay, thanks.
Knowing how invested Utah was in the Proposition 8 on both sides, what was your anticipation going in, and how did your screening compare to what you were anticipating when you came here?
The screening?
All screenings.
All screenings. So the question was knowing what role Utah played in the passage of Prop 8, what were our anticipations. I mean, there was a documentary 4 years ago called 8 the Mormon Proposition, which I'm sure many of you saw, and so we decided not to cover the passage of Prop 8 at all in our film. We kind of picked up where that film left off with the passage. Coming into Sundance, I don't really know what our anticipations were. I mean, our anticipations were different for Sundance than this screening. We know Salt Lake City is a very, very gay city and that it's a very politically active city, but we didn't know if we were going to get... A film festival is kind of a little bubbly, you know, so I think we felt pretty safe there. But like Kate said, I've never been in such an infectious screening for this film so far, so we were sitting in the back just like laughing and crying the whole time with you guys.
We know there are straight people here too, so thanks for coming. Up in the top right.
How did you feel at the time about the issue of televising the proceedings in California?
The question is, how did we feel about the broadcast of the trial? Everyone involved in the case was really excited about the trial being broadcast, and frankly, just in terms of access and letting the public see what was going on, we thought that would be great. Once the Supreme Court ruled that it wouldn't be broadcast, Ryan and I felt a big responsibility to tell the story of what was happening in there and show the evidence that was being put on trial, and particularly the amazing testimonies that we did our best to recreate, and hopefully someday those tapes will actually be released. That there were videotapes of that made during the trial that are currently under seal, so hopefully those will be released someday.
As filmmakers, we were very ambivalent about it. Like, having the footage would have given us something to show you of what went on in the courtroom. So that gave us a huge challenge then once the footage was blocked on how we bring our audience into the courtroom. And so we tried to do that through recreating the plaintiff testimonies and having them read them. On the other side, as filmmakers, we knew when the broadcast was blocked that we had the absolute only unique access to the film. So like Ben said, it was sort of a responsibility and a burden in some ways, but it was also a blessing in some ways that now our film was the only way to tell this story. No other filmmakers could go out there and use the footage to tell the story. And so we sort of felt ambivalent about it all through.
Two more questions.
Two more questions.
Probably a quick one. Aside from HBO, how do people get to see this? Is there a distribution deal? How do we get this out to all?
Sure, well, HBO has been an amazing partner, and they're going to release the film in June, so please subscribe to HBO. They're really great supporters of documentaries. And we'll be playing at some other festivals around the country before that, so, and then eventually it'll be available on DVD and iTunes and all those normal things.
Just to go off of what Ben said, we are hoping to really get this film out in the streets. Even HBO will be a great partner and has huge viewerships, but not everyone can subscribe to HBO, and so we'll be partnering with lots of organizations over the coming year to try to have many screenings throughout the country. Because part of the goal of making this film and waging this case was to change hearts and minds, and a lot of those that need to be changed are in houses that don't have HBO and are in cities that have film festivals. So we'd love to get it to Middle America and the South, and really travel with the film. Time for one more. The guy in the red sweatshirt.
I know it's really premature to ask this, but you guys are amazing. Do you have plans for a next project?
The question was about a next project. No, I mean, we both have things in development, but we have been living and breathing gay marriage for the last 5 years, and the next year we will continue to live and breathe gay marriage. And so for now, we're fully committed just to getting this film out there. I think neither of us have ever worked on a project that's so personal, so impactful to us, and so we want to take the time to really nurse it and make sure that it has the fullest effect it can.
Thank you guys so much.